So, everybody, on this episode of Catching Up with JB, I got Kendra Hurla, who is a four-time state champ in girls wrestling for Rossville High School. She just became a four-time state champ over the weekend. She went 38-0 her senior year with a record of 124-3 in her high school career with 111 pins. Kendra, welcome to the show.
Hi. Yeah, that's all correct. I don't know. But
You were, like I said, you were a four-time state champ. Your first year, your freshman year, it was just like smaller schools.
yes and no. Our freshman year, we definitely didn't have as like difficult of a like schedule, if you want to say, but like state-wise, we've been 4 through 1A all 4 years. So we definitely still saw the bigger schools, but there were several tournaments we didn't go to that we did this year to see them, but yeah, there were a few smaller ones, but
So, what was that like being at state or even regionals where you're wrestling? You don't know if you're wrestling a girl that's 1A or a girl that's 4A. It's just kind of just like
um
it's just yeah.
it's I don't know. I mean, it's not too bad. A lot of them are 4A at this point because their 4A is growing a lot more, but you just kind of got to go out on the mat and just kind of wrestle whoever's out there. I think that there are a lot of great athletes at big schools, but I do think that smaller schools are overlooked. I think that some of the best athletes can come from smaller schools. They just don't quite have that recognition yet. So, um, just kind of going out there and wrestling whoever's in front of me has been kind of how I've always looked at it. So I don't think the bigger schools have always bothered me as much. I just think they're much more hyped up that might get into like a wrestler's head before a match. But
Right. It's kind of like you see the name on the shirt
yeah.
mentality. What made you start wrestling?
Definitely my older brothers. I started when I was 4 in kids club. And, I, ever since I was a baby, went to their kids club meets. Always had all my toys there, played in the bleachers. And then when they had the breaks, went down on the mats and like wrestled with them or like rolled around. So I think that kind of started like my love for the sport. And then as I got older, I was wrestling in kids club myself, competed with the guys. I quit wrestling my third, fourth, fifth, sixth, kind of around in there to play volleyball. And then I started again my 8th grade year when I was managing. So I kind of was around the sport again and just fell in love with it, decided to go out, and I'm glad I did.
The
So,
rest is kind of history.
yeah.
I mean, you're probably going to go down as the just in not just in girls state wrestling, but boys as well. You're probably going to go down as one of the best wrestlers in Kansas high school history.
That's crazy.
I mean, and you took some years off and you just came back and it's just like, it just came right back to you.
Yeah. That it definitely did.
So you were the 21 Shawnee County Newcomer of the Year, the 22 Co-Wrestler of the Year with Miranda Bell, the 23 Co-Wrestler of the Year with Addie Brocksterman, the 23 and 24 Regional C Wrestler of the Year, and 21 All Shawnee County First Team, 22 All Shawnee County First Team, and then 22, 23 All Mid-East League Wrestling First Team, 22 and 23 All Shawnee County Girls Wrestling Team First Team. And I'm pretty sure that all those will also say a 20, 23, 24 next to them this year as well.
Yeah. Hopefully.
So those are pretty good high school achievements.
Yeah, they are. They were definitely a good honor to get. The school talks about them, and then everyone else kind of gets your name out, especially those earlier years of my career as like a freshman and sophomore getting the newcomer. It was an honor, it put my
It
name
kind of
out there.
put your name on the map.
Yeah,
And then
definitely kinda put me out there.
this year it was like I gotta carry, I'm Kendra Hurla. I gotta go out there and I gotta perform because I done did this the first 3 years and now I gotta do this again for one more year of high
Yeah,
school.
for sure. But
Now, do you wrestle like outside of high school?
I never really have, actually. Um, I have never done freestyle. Um, I have always just done folk style my whole life. So I've done the summer scuffle in I don't know what month it is, but sometime in the summer I've done that. And then I've done the Rogue Duel last year. But other than that, I've never really wrestled through summer. I just kind of pick it up each season as it comes. But
Wow, that's kind of crazy to think about.
yeah.
Now, you said you quit there for a couple years growing up to play volleyball. Do you still play volleyball?
Yes. I have played volleyball junior high through high school.
So
So,
you go from volleyball straight into wrestling and it's just up here the whole time.
yeah, definitely is.
So what are your plans for college? Do you plan on like wrestling in college or
Um, I have decided to not wrestle in college. I have kind of like it's taken a lot of time to decide, and it was definitely a really hard decision.
oh, I
For
can
the longest
imagine.
time, I couldn't say it out loud just because I didn't want to think about it, but Um, personally, I feel like it's where I need to go next step to kind of figure out who else I can be, like what else I can accomplish. Because right now, I'm known as like that wrestler. Like someone hears my name and they're like, oh, you're that wrestler, or, all of this. And I'm like, okay, what else can people know me by, Not to mention, since I did win it my freshman year, there's ton of like stress or like, you're going to be a four timer and all of that, like, from the start, so I love wrestling, but I got my ending that I needed, and I think it's kinda time for me to move on.
Well, that's a pretty good ending to have to go out on. So you wrestled the girl from Mulvane, Leanna Landreth, 2 other times this year.
Mhm.
And then that was the third time this year. Like beating somebody twice is hard, but they always say beating somebody 3 times is even harder.
Yeah. Um, yeah, it was. The first time I saw her was at the finals in Eureka. Um, she got a takedown, I got an escape, and then, um I don't know exactly how it went, but it was 4-4 going into the second period, and I ended up getting the pin in the second period. And then the second time I saw her was at Baldwin in the finals. Um, it was a closer match, but there was a questionable call that I ended up losing points for a takedown and some back points, which, looking back at film and like talking to some refs, like shouldn't really have been there, but I'm glad it was called because then I was able to push myself and get some takedowns that I needed, and I ended up coming back from that 5-point deficit in the third period and got some back points with a few seconds left to win me the match. So that definitely prepared me for the finals match to come, but
And a lot of people, for a lot of people that don't know, the third period in wrestling that's the final period.
yes.
Like if you didn't score those 5, then it was over.
Yeah, but
So they're in that finals match of state. You were down in the third period,
mhm.
correct? Down by 2
Yes. Yes.
with a minute to go.
Uh, down by 1 with a minute to go
Yeah,
at the
it
very
was
end.
what was it, 9-8 with a minute to go,
Yes.
and you were down on the bottom. It looked like she had it. I was watching it live. I thought she had it, and I was like, "Oh no, this can't be." And then all of a sudden, you got her rolled over, and I think they gave you 2 points, and that pretty much sealed it for you. There was only
Yeah.
like 30 seconds left when you got the 2 points, and
Yep.
then you just had to hold on.
Yeah. So, there was a lot of reversals in this match, a ton of them. Well, it felt like. I don't know how many there actually were, but so it was the 3rd period. Had just gotten a takedown, so I was up by 1 point. Maybe it was 5 to 6 by then. She got a reversal with about a minute left, and that put me back down by a point. I think about 7-8 was the score. And with about 30 seconds left, I got my own reversal again and actually had the leg split, so I was able to put myself in good position for some back points. And I did. I just had to kinda hang on, let the clock tick down, which was my plan when I saw the towel tapper come out. I was just planning on getting my points and, calling it good, but I saw the opportunity for the pin, and I went for it with a few seconds left, and I got it with 1 second on the clock, and, with that pin, our team was able to get a few extra points, and I really think that sealed the deal for our state team title, so
Yes, you guys you guys won the team championship this year, but did
yes.
you guys also win it last year?
We got 2nd last year.
I couldn't remember if you guys got first or second. I knew it was one of them. You had a teammate, Haley Horton. She also took first. That was like
Yes.
2 matches after yours, or a
Oh
couple,
my
not
gosh,
2, it
yes.
was like 4 or 5 now that I'm thinking about it.
Mhm.
That was like you go from, you go to starting to watch, you go from your match to her match and watching her, then it's like you're in the match. Just the
Yeah.
adrenaline as a teammate, watching your teammate win a state championship.
It was I was so happy for her, I cannot. She has worked so hard, she really figured out her style of wrestling this year. She figured out the leg attacks just weren't kinda her thing, and our coaches really helped her work on, like, her style personally, and I think it really excelled her wrestling. Um, she worked so hard, and I was really happy to see her come out on top. She's a really deserving person, and the girl that she wrestled in finals, she had just wrestled at Phillipsburg the tournament before regionals, and she had lost to her due to hurting her knee during the match. So, not only did she fight back from, like, that loss from her, but a knee injury the week before regionals. So, for her to get that win in her finals match and to pull our team ahead in points to truly win our state title,
Because that kind
and
of
then
clinched
just
it for you guys, didn't it?
yes, we needed her win to get ahead of Oakley, and then we needed Oakley's 170-pounder to lose in her finals match. So,
And then it all just
yeah.
kind of fell right into your hands.
Oh, it fell into place perfectly this weekend.
So, what goes through your mind when you're on the mat wrestling?
Um, Not a lot.
It's kind of that tunnel vision, like you're just
It is. Um, you know, I what does go through my head? So, you get out there and you just gotta tell yourself, like, you gotta wrestle. Before my finals match, I really figured out how to, like, get myself to just realize, like, the nerves, they aren't gonna do anything for me, worrying about the outcome isn't gonna do anything for me, that once I get out there and I get over the initial nerves, like, all I gotta do is wrestle. So, getting over those nerves a little bit before the match, I think definitely helped me go out there and, like, stay calm during the match and, like, especially at the beginning. But we also do a ton of, like, drilling and, like, how we drill in our room. We do a ton of drills where, like, you gotta pass a certain level to move on. So, staying calm in those positions when you're tired and, like, being comfortable with being uncomfortable definitely is something that, like, is going through our mind on the mat. So when you do get to the 3rd period and you're tired, um, you just know that you're not as tired as your opponent, that you can go one more minute than her. You can get one more takedown than her. Like that you want it more than her, and you just start to believe it yourself, and it shows in the wrestling. But other than that, I don't really remember much of my match after it.
You kind of just said it. It's the you. Do you want it more?
Yes.
And you just kind of dig deep and find that.
Yeah.
Now, I saw there's a picture of you that got posted on Twitter shortly after you won state of you holding a belt, the Rossville belt. Who
Yes.
gets the belt?
So the belt is a tradition that we started not too long ago. But after each tournament or like duel, the coaches talk it over, and the wrestler that they think like did the best or like put in the best effort, that like deserves that recognition, then they like talk it over, and that's who usually gets the belt for that tournament. Then they take a picture, post it. They take it home like that night, and then they bring it back, and we do it for like each of the meets and everything. But it's just kind of an extra recognition, if you have a teammate that comes in and they get their first win for the tournament, then it's just kind of you celebrating them in that moment. So
I like that. I like that a lot.
yeah.
So, what's it going to be like next year when Kendra Hurla isn't a wrestler or a volleyball player? Like, what's Kendra Hurla going to do when she's not wrestling no more?
I don't know.
Like, you said that you just kind of just want to move on from being Kendra Hurla the wrestler and just
Yeah.
find out who you
So
really are going to be. But
yes.
what's
So
going to be like? What's going to go through your mind when it comes time for wrestling season and you're not wrestling anymore?
oh,
I feel like you're really going to miss it.
I will. I 100% will, and I know I will. I think the first year without it is going to be, once that season hits, it's gonna be really tough. I'm gonna be honest. But I plan on going to Washburn University to get my nursing degree. I am really interested in like the anatomy of the body and that kind of things. And then hopefully after college, I want to become a travel nurse. So, now I got a new tunnel vision to get that done and, be a college student and everything. I working currently as a CNA, so kind of working on that over the summer and over the next year. And I am going to try for the Washburn cheer team. We'll see how it goes. If I don't get it, it's not meant to be, but we're gonna try out for that. I've done cheer dance, all 4 years of high school, so I'm hoping it goes good, but definitely gonna try and find some new hobbies, maybe some painting, something like that, but I don't know, we'll see, just kind of finding
Well, I'm
what
sure
else.
that if you wanted to coach wrestling, that Rossville would be glad to have you help out around the school for wrestling. So,
Oh,
um,
I definitely plan on going back and helping with a few practices. So,
so did you say you're also a cheerleader?
yes.
So not only do you play volleyball, not only do you wrestle, but you're also a cheerleader for the school.
Yep, and I do dance and track.
So everything.
Yep.
So there's never a season where you're not doing something. Wow,
No.
it's just on the go all the time.
Yes.
What's it? What has it been like to go to school at Rossville and to wrestle and just be this dominant force, and you get to wear the name Rossville on your chest all the time?
Um,
Like, what
it
does it mean to you to be from Rossville?
it means quite a bit, I truly believe that Rossville, especially Rossville Wrestling, holds their athletes to a higher standard. You know, you hear from some schools like what students do in the hall or like what they get away with and are still participating in sports and everything. And I'm just like, wow, like that, we don't have that here at Rossville. Those things still happen, but there's definitely action taken, and I feel like Rossville holds their athletes to a higher standard. So to be able to be one of those athletes, especially a girl wrestler, and paving the way for the next generation, it it means a lot. It's you hold your reputation on a T-shirt, you could say, and it's kind of a symbol for how much you've worked for and how hard you've worked throughout your years. So
I've known a lot of people that went to school. One of your coaches is a really good friend of mine.
mhm,
What is it? Would you say that you had that dog mentality in you?
100%.
100%. I definitely agree. Well, Kendra, I just want to say thank you for coming on the show tonight.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Yes, I appreciate your time. Hey, I just want to tell everybody thank you for tuning in to another episode of Catching Up with JB. Kendra Hurla is going to go down as one of the greatest wrestlers in Kansas high school history. I mean, 3 losses in 4 years, 38-0 senior year, 111 pins. She's going to go down as one of the greatest wrestlers in Kansas high school history. It was a pleasure to have her on the show tonight. And like I said, she just came off winning her 4th state title this past Saturday. And it was truly an honor to be able to sit down and talk to her and just learn who Kendra Hurla is and what lies ahead for her future. Thank you, everybody.